Today we want to give you some tips on how to choose the perfect photographer for you. We're going to be talking about how to research your photographer, the budget, styles, color, and working with a team. Hi, my name is Caleb. I'm a professional wedding photographer from Cinestory. After shooting over 400 weddings, we've gathered a lot of feedback and seen a lot of different approaches. So hopefully after watching this, you'll be able to find the photographer that will capture these once-in-a-lifetime moments. First of all, it's crucial to have professionals that you can trust. So doing proper research is very important. The team that you choose won't have a chance to do a second take, so reviews and referrals and the quantity of work is the best way to judge if the photographer that you've hired is reliable and professional. If you see a photography page with a bunch of photos from different weddings, otherwise known as a portfolio, we would recommend looking deeper and see at least a couple of full weddings. Notice the type of weddings that they shoot. For example, if the photographer specializes in elopements, shooting a 400 guest wedding could be totally out of their comfort zone. Next step is figuring out your budget. We break down wedding photographers into 3 categories. Number 1 is the budget photographer. This photographer is not going to break the bank, but they also tend to be an entry-level photographer or someone who doesn't have a lot of experience. Typically, they'll charge the least. And don't get me wrong, there are talented photographers in this range. And sometimes there are even editorial or landscape photographers trying to break into the wedding photography market. But there are risks hiring in this category, namely a lack of experience. There has never been, nor will there ever be, a wedding that goes exactly according to plan. Other challenges for these photographers include dealing with available light. On a wedding day, you are always dealing with whatever the lighting situation is at the time, and you have little to no control over it. So having an inexperienced photographer who does not know how to handle variable and constantly changing lighting situations is definitely a risk. Number 2 are the photography studios. Photography studios in this range have typically been doing weddings for at least 3 to 5 years. They do a decent volume of weddings and produce great quality. They're more expensive than the budget photographer, but less expensive than the high-end category of photographer who we're going to talk about in a bit. These photographers are professionals, and due to the high volume of weddings that they do per year, they're able to charge a reasonable rate. They're typically involved from start to finish of your wedding prep, including helping to build your timeline. Number 3 is the high-end wedding photographer. They typically limit themselves to shooting 10 to 15 weddings a year and can charge around $10,000 and up and provide exceptional quality and customer service. Because they shoot so few weddings per year, you can expect a very personal touch and extremely high quality. They have a brand built around themselves, so you also pay for the name and personal connection. For example, Jose Villa. They're like the Supremes of the world with a limited drop. Now let's talk about styles and different approaches to photography. There's documentary photography and there's editorial photography. Documentary photography is more in the moment rather than staged. Editorial is where the photographer takes more action and stages a lot of things. We do something in between with some editorial and some portraits. But we mostly stick to documentary storytelling throughout the day, which is typically what we recommend. That way that you're able to look back on the emotional moments that happened organically and the beautiful stage shots that you'll frame in your home. So this is a question that you also need to ask yourself. Are you wanting to be in the moment on your wedding day or constantly on for the camera? There's no right or wrong way to go. People love both ways, but it's definitely something that you need to consider when choosing your photographer. Color-wise, our tip is to go with what you like. Don't follow the trends. Wedding photos must be timeless. You can go for warmer tones, natural tones, colder tones, true to life, darker, colder, dramatic, bright, airy. Just make sure that it's something that you will enjoy for years and decades down the road. And lastly, one more thing to consider is how your photo and video are going to work together. As a studio that does both, we know the importance of having a cohesive team that works together. Ask your photographer if they have any recommendations. Ask if you can see the work that they've done together. Mismatched styles and visions can decrease the quality of both photos and videos. And if you want to hear more about wedding videographers, check our link in the description below. We hope this information was helpful in choosing your photographer. If so, please hit us with a like and subscribe for more wedding day content. We'll see you next time.